In the last video, I received not one, but 2 body bags full of batteries. As some of you may remember, we laid them all out neatly on the operating table. Once we had them all laid out like that, we ran a full triage session and recorded the results in this beautiful patient chart that I've compiled with all the information that we need to perform the relevant surgery to each battery. So today we're going to tackle the first surgery on battery number 1 from the triage session, and it's a biggie. It's brain surgery. So to recap what was wrong with battery number 1, 2 flashing red lights, flashing green and red on the Milwaukee charger and not powering at all. I've removed the screws, so I'll take the top off just to show you what I found on the triage session. First things first, the obvious was a disconnected board from the battery cells, the battery cell pack to be specific, and also a burnt terminal. See that terminal is burnt very badly, that negative terminal. Those are the 2 faults that's causing the issue. Carrying out a quick voltage test on the cells, the power pack below the BMS, we have ascertained that there's nothing wrong with the cells. The power plant is alright. It's just a simple matter of brain damage in this battery. What we learned from that is we need to do a little bit of brain surgery on this battery. But before we do so, we better consult the good book for advice. It's very insightful, this, by the way. Yes. Oh, there it is. What he says. We're faced with 2 possible routes of surgery with this. As you know, the damaged terminal in the BMS and the disconnection of the BMS. One choice would be repair what we have. So get that spot welded down, actually repair the terminal with a bit of another terminal, which can work if you have no other choice. I'm not very comfortable with that one. I know it means replacing the original board with something from the Far East. Something like this, something procured on the internet, came all the way from the Far East, from a no-name online seller that you have no chance of going back with. There's basically a taillight guarantee with this, and even worse, that taillight is on a rickshaw. With the 2 options available, the one I prefer would be replacing the board, to be quite honest. I could repair that, I could stick that down very successfully. The repairing that would be decent enough if we had no choice. But you see the bit's still in there. Belong to that. When this battery has had such a rough life and that actually managed not to burn the terminal but break it, we're probably better putting a new board on, even if it is an imitation one. And if we do consult the good book again, it says, first of all, we got to prep the battery for surgery here, and the replacement board, the new brain as it were, you can see this positive terminal is much longer than it needs to be, but the negative terminal is much shorter than it needs to be. So we're going to have to do a wee bit of surgery and keep a bit of the original material here and cut this off, not where it's joined to the board but further on. We're going to have to slice her off there so we have something to tack over the top of it to give us a bit more security. We also have to remove the 2 T8 screws. So here we go. This is where we need to remove the screws from the board. I'm going to put a link in the description for these. These are very useful. You get these in a little set with all the sizes in. So remove those. And I'm going to put them in the magnetic dish because we will need them later to reattach the other board. The next part of the surgery is we're going to cut this off here with the Dremel. The next part of the procedure is disconnecting the board. So we have to do this, desolder this, this, and this, and also we have to get this out as well. I might take it out first actually. Here we are. Get this popped out. That's that. Then we'll desolder the board down those 4 points that I showed you. We have the soldering iron waiting in the wings. We're just going to put a little bit of flux on here, say a little bit, just to help it come off. Doesn't take much. There's a whole heap in that. Probably just melt off handy enough. Let's let go fairly easily. That's not bad. Didn't need to add any more solder, which is good because I'd have to get rid of that solder, clean them off a little bit for the new board to be reinstalled. Now we've got it to this point, like I say, I might just give the soldering iron a wee rub on these points to just make sure that most of the solder's off, you know, to get rid of that excess. Be careful if you're working with a pack. That looks fairly innocuous the way it's sitting there, but that's a fully charged load of power in there. We don't want to cross connect any connections there because you can get sparks, you can get burns, you can get all sorts. So that's why I'm wearing some. These are very, very minimal protection. If you can work with thicker gloves for burns and whatnot, please do. As you see, we did cut this off. This didn't have to be cut off because that was one of the faults that I'd let go. But we're going to have to prep the board with the Dremel now. We're going to clean off these edges here because sometimes there's a bit of a coating on there, as you can see. Now we'll attempt to set the board on. Just do this here first. We'll have to stick this down to the top of that cell there. That's where that goes. You see there's a little issue, but it mightn't be too bad. That little spudge kind of broke off that holds the board on. The little plastic thing it sits on to, but it'll be alright. It'll be alright. It's near enough. So we'll set the board on nicely now. Nice and neat. We hope. We hope. So them two in there. We'll have to get the other two on the other side. One's in, one's nearly in. There we are. It's sitting down properly. It's giving us a flashing light. I don't know if that's good or bad at this point. And we'll wave that secured down, hopefully in place. We'll just screw this back on again. Put this screw back in, hold the board down. Seems to be down nice and neat with the two screws in now, and it's just a matter of reattaching the 4 points and the 2 ends now, and we should have a good job. A good friend of mine gives me advice on fixing these things. I call him my battery sensei, and he always advises me to spot weld these. But this Chinese on board, to be honest, the ends are the connection ends are much more flexible than the ones on the genuine one. So might get away with soldering. We'll give it a go. Spot welding is undoubtedly the best choice usually, because as you've seen, that terminal broke away there. If you put a bit of flexible strip on and spot weld it on, it'll allow the battery to move under load a little bit and not break off the solder. But that'll move anyway. That'll actually hold anyway, I would say. So here we go. There we are. And it will move a bit. That bit of movement's important, because spot welds or solder can snap off when it gets a bit of abuse, and that's what happens to these all the time. So moving on to B1, B2, B3 and B4. These are the little connections that monitor the cell health from the brain, which is the circuit board, the BMS, to the cells. So we'll solder that all on now, starting one at a time. Oh, I didn't like that. Little spark there. I may have blew a resistor. I may have blew a resistor there. We'll see. That's the danger with these jobs. You haven't much room, and you can't touch anything that's not related to what you're doing. There's resistors very close to this one. Wouldn't be the first board that I popped a resistor on. Even so much as reaches in too far and popping it with a solder, connecting it with a solder or anything, can happen. I might try and put a bit more solder on that B2, even though it did make a little pop. A bit more on it just to make sure that it sticks. I think that's it now. I'm pretty sure we got away with that. So that's the full brain surgery carried out. One thing left to do is stick down this thermal protector from the board onto the top of the cell. We'll do that with hot glue. And before I do that and put the lid on, I want you guys, if you enjoy this video, hit the like button, thumbs up instead of thumbs down, and consider subscribing to the channel. This little blob's enough to do that. That's quite sufficient. The lid on now. Right back together. We have lights anyway. We didn't have lights, so that's an improvement. So we're going to try it on the charger. And it's charging. It's charging. Wow. Also, we'll try it on a tool when we're just in the mood for this. This is looking pretty good. I could say what I easily say. I'm calling that fixed. But in the interest of seeing how good the fix is, we might just put this in the load tester for an hour and a half, just to see how it performs. We know we've got a functional battery, but now we have to establish, do we have a powerful battery? Has this lost any amperes over its lifetime? Has it lost any milliamps at all? Is it as good as new? One way to find out this bit of diagnostic equipment, very, very important piece of equipment. It's a load tester. What we're going to do is put it under a 5 amp load and bring it down to 12.5 volts, put it under severe pressure and see how many watt hours it shows and see how much capacity it has, milliamperes. So here it goes. We're going to push the button. This is going to take about an hour and a half, so yeah, It's going to take a wee bit of time. Here we go. Now we wait. Right, the test is completed. However, we just remove this here. See, the results are suboptimal. We've got 5.4 ampere and 95 watt hours. That is not great for an 8 ampere battery. At capacity, we wanted 8,000 milliamps and 216 watt hours. So that is suboptimal. The battery is functional, but it's not powerful. It's just a bit more powerful than an ordinary 5 amp battery. It might do better than a standard 5 amp battery due to the 21700 cells, but it's not the result we wanted. It's always disappointing when you don't get the result you wanted, but we do have a functional battery, so that's something. It's one less for landfill. So if you like this video, again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and check out my other videos. There'll be more videos on these 12 batteries that I've been given from Bonnie, Scotland.